Hi, Melissa. I just wanted to take a quick minute to give you a little video tour of some of the books that I recommended for you on your wish list. Two things. One, ignore my different colored curtains. We're trying to decide which color to go with. And two, I am terrible on video and I say lots of ums and have awkward pauses, so I apologize. So the first ones I'm going to show you are a few of the books for your 7-year-old. And I don't have every book, but I just grabbed a couple from each group to show. The first one are a couple of the chapter books that I recommended for him. These are two very different levels. Jack Russell is a little easier. It is more for an early reader. Mythical Ninth is for a more advanced reader. So you can kind of decide what level you think he's at and go from there. You can see the difference in the thickness on them there. Jack Russell is larger words. There's pictures and illustrations, and I'll hold it up so you can kind of see an idea and see which one is going to be more appropriate for him. Pictures and illustrations. Each page has, well, almost every page has little Jack facts or a map that they drew or a glossary or pictures. So that's the Jack Russell series, super cute. The Mythical Ninth series is one of my favorite young adult books that we have, and it's definitely a little bit older. Here's the inside. You can see this one also has some of the pages are broken up by pictures, but there's a lot of text-only pages. In the beginning of each chapter is let's see if I can get to one here somewhere. The beginning of each chapter is a comic, a couple pages of a comic. And it's definitely a little bit more advanced, both in terms of words and the humor and all of that. So, but they're really good. Very, very cute. He likes space and science, so I gave you some science books. One of them that I gave you is the Astronaut's Handbook, and this book goes through and it just talks about the life of an astronaut, how to become an astronaut, the kinds of training that an astronaut goes through, how they go to the bathroom, how they eat, all of that stuff. It's really a cute book for kids that like space and science. He should be able to read most of it by himself. Here's just an example of kind of some of the text. But if not, it's a great book to read together with him, and it's got great pictures and illustrations. So highly recommended that. He likes science, so I gave 100 Things to Know About Science. Each page on this covers a different topic: volcanoes, magnetic poles, aliens, tiny underwater plants like phytoplankton, things I don't even know about, Arctic terns, just everything that you could want to know. 100 different things. Lots of fun, lots of pictures, really small little chunks of information, really great. I gave him 2 See Inside books, this one and See Inside the Universe, and they're going to be similar in terms of size and flaps and stuff. I highly recommend these. These are such great books, and they really will grow with him. Even your 4-year-old might like looking at the pictures in them. My 4-year-old does, although the information is a little bit above her head, and there's more of it in this book, so it's harder for her to take in just because there's so much information. But for a 7-year-old, even up to early teens, they're great books. So each page talks about a different topic. And this is, like I said, See Inside How Things Work. And so this is movers and shakers. So it talks a little bit about construction equipment. And you lift the flap and it talks in detail about how each part of the item works. So it's great for kids that have a scientific mind or are curious about things like that. How bikes work, musical instruments, how different musical instruments work. Just a really great, really fascinating book. And kids will learn a lot, and he'll be coming to you with facts that you don't even know are true. And he learned it in these books. Excuse me. For your 4-year-old, I gave you a few different books. Let me just pull them up here. The first one I gave him is, oops, whoa, went dark there. All right, Look Inside the Jungle Book. This is kind of the little sibling series to our See Inside book. You can see the difference in size there. It doesn't have quite as many flaps. It's not as much detailed information. It's just a little bit younger version. And then we actually have one for even younger kids that I also included on there, the Peek Inside series, which is, again, even smaller, fewer flaps, less information. So we've got those three. But the Look Inside the Jungle Book is really great. It's got amazing, huge flaps, tons of information, flaps within flaps. This is it's such a great book. We really love it. You can see here's a big flap, and then it's got even more flaps underneath it. So just lots of information, so much fun. These books are literally what got us hooked on Osborne. The Peek Inside series is more for the 2 to 4-year-old. My 4-year-old still really likes reading them, but they're great for the younger kids too. So this will kind of transition between your two youngest kids. There are still the flaps. They're not quite as detailed. They're more fun shaped, I think. This is not the one I put on your book. I think I put Nighttime on your list, Nighttime and Farm, but I don't have those ones. So but this will give you an idea of kind of the amount of information and the number of flaps compared to the other ones. So these are great. I gave him a couple big books. I don't have the ones that I gave him, although I've seen them and they're fantastic, and especially the Big Bugs one is on my list. But here's just to show you what they're like. They're beautifully illustrated with these watercolor paintings, and then each big book has several fold-out pages. You can see they're huge with these enormous illustrations and just little tiny chunks of information, but they are great for kids to just sit and flip through. They will absolutely love doing that. So the big books are really great. Definitely love those. Another book I gave him a couple of the starting to read early reader books. One of them is the Farmyard Tales book. I don't have that one again yet. That's on my list, but I do have this mini version of it. The Farmyard Tales book is going to be much bigger, like that maybe. But I do just want to show you kind of how they work. So you'll see they have a more simple line of text at the top here and then a more complicated line at the bottom. And the nice thing about these books is that the top line can be read independently of the bottom line. And then it's also great. Newer readers can read the top line, parents can read the bottom line, and then they're reading together, and that's really encouraging and fun for kids. So this is the type of book the Farmyard Tales book is. This is just the smaller mini version of it. I also put the Starting to Read pack on there, and that is going to be 8 soft cover books. This is a hardcover version of one of the soft cover books that's in there. Oh my God, you're a mess. And but to show you, it comes with some information about how the book works and the letters that are used in this book. If your child can do the sounds of those letters, and then they can read this book. You're a silly girl. So here again, this is similar to the dual reader that I showed you with the train book. You've got a parent section up here and then a child section down here. And here, scoot back, kiddo. And they'll sound this out. And then the pack will take them through a series of different sounds and letter sounds, and it will help them learn to read. And they're really designed to be the very first books that a child reads. So I highly recommend that Starting to Read set. The last book I'm going to show you for your 4-year-old is the Wipe Clean Alphabet. This is great for kids that are just learning how to write. There's different things that they can do. Are you singing a song? Sorry about this. But they can practice the letter, and then there's also different things that they can trace around. You can see the dots, and those are great for pen control and really learning how to write. They do come with a pen. Ours is currently not in here. So, but yours will have one. Then lastly, I'm going to talk about the books for your baby. I gave you That's Not My Elephant. Any of the That's Not My books are absolutely fantastic. They have fuzzy textures. They're very, very sturdy. Each page is a different texture. They've got these bold illustrations and repetitive text, which is just wonderful for kids. That's exactly what kids need. They'll start anticipating, and then there's a little white mouse to find on every page too. But these That's Not My books are just so amazing. They're so adorable, and they're bestsellers for a reason, really. I highly recommend these. The Colors Playbook, or any of our, I think there's an animal and a farm playbook as well. These are going to have textures, flaps, and finger trails, a little bit of everything. There's a texture. Here's a finger trail, which are grooves cut into the page that they can trace with their fingers. There's cutouts. You can see cutout, flaps, just a little bit of everything, and it goes through each different color. My daughter absolutely loves this book. She's 2.5, but it's great for much younger kids as well. If you like those finger trails, I put the Finger Trail Garden Playbook on there. This has even more finger trails. Every page also has a flap, but it has multiple finger trails. Again, these are great for kids who are learning to read, not learning to read, who are practicing their fine motor control. And they do also kind of subconsciously teach kids that text goes left to right, because you'll always start on the side and trace to the other side. So these are just super cute. The finger trails are awesome. And they've got some little cutouts too. So awesome books. Another little finger trail there. So, and then I gave you a couple of the Little Red Penguin books. Here's the Colors one. You can see they're smaller size, and each one has a flap. It's the Little Red Penguin, and he is asking a question, which you then answer by folding out the page. So also really great for little kids. So those are the books that I picked out for you. Just a small sample of the books that I picked out for you. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this.